Chapter 15, here we go. Primary and secondary markets as far as financing is concerned. So let's talk about sources of real estate financing. Okay, where does the money come from? Okay, lenders supply funds to borrowers as an investment. So we've established kind of the lender-borrower relationship in regards to who gives who what. Okay, money passes to the borrower. That's not the mortgage, that's a loan. Okay, then the borrower gives the mortgage to the bank as a pledge of the real property to repay the loan. Okay, and here's how we find money on the primary market. So we're talking about the primary mortgage market, where the money comes from. So they give you a list of a couple of different ways that you can get money. So you're talking about mortgage bankers, mortgage brokers, credit unions, life insurance companies, mutual savings banks, commercial banks, savings and loan associations, amongst many others. So this is where the money is coming from. Okay, where is the money coming from? Now, when we're talking about the application of credit, we're actually talking about obtaining this loan. There's a process which the lender carefully investigates the applicant. They're going to study their credit reports. They're going to look at their ability to repay this, and that's called underwriting. So what happens is usually that is part of the process to eventually committing and clearing the loan to close. Okay, so that's really what the process is. It goes for a pre-approval, pre-qualification. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you. I will say that the real estate industry has bastardized the pre-approval. Basically, anything before any kind of commitment of substance is given to the applicant. Okay, there's all different kinds of fancy wording. They've used desktop underwriting. Basically, what I will tell you a practicality, legality kind of thing. Okay, legality. Really, again, because we have kind of bastardized the language in which we use to identify what process the lender has gone through. It's hard to say what's a pre-qual, what's a pre-approval, what's a pre-this, what's a desktop underwriting. What you really need to do is you need to ask the lender who is providing whatever pre-qualification letter for that buyer, hey, what have you checked? Well, what have you looked at? What is the likelihood of this going to close? That's really it. And we're talking about that from a listing agent perspective, from a buyer's agent perspective, anyone who is going to be presented with a pre-qualification of any sort, whether you call it a pre-approval, pre-qual, desktop underwriting, whatever fancy terms you use. Basically, what you want to do is you want to get on the horn with that lender, and you want to say, hey, what have you verified? What have you looked at? What have you not looked at? What would cause this to go south? And that's really the difference between the vernacular between one or the other. But again, I have seen so many new fancy schmancy programs coming out there. You really want to kind of get a good sense for what's going on. But the underwriting process is really where the lender is going to carefully investigate that applicant, okay, and then send this to clear to close for the loan. Okay, we're talking about the loan. We're talking about the loan. Now we're going to talk about the secondary market. Okay, Fannie Mae, Ginnie Mae, Freddie Mac. Okay, we're going to kind of stay on this slide for a little bit because I want to talk to you about Fannie Mae, what Fannie Mae is, what Fannie Mae does. So Fannie Mae purchases loans, okay, purchases debt, okay, on the secondary market. So we said the primary market was getting money to these people, okay. Then what happens is those primary sources, so if we went one back, okay, let's see if we do previous. No, we want to go previous one more. So if we talk about these guys, primary market, okay, this is where the money comes from, okay. Now we have what happens once that loan is handed out, okay, and then who holds the mortgage, okay? It's going to be probably one of these guys on the secondary market. Let's talk about who they are. So Fannie Mae, biggest one on there. Fannie Mae is going to purchase up a bulk of the the mortgages on the secondary market, servicing them. Okay. Freddie Mac is just a smaller Fannie Mae. They're gonna pick up pretty much a mix of everything. Okay, and they're going to be a bulk of it is going to be here and here. Ginnie Mae is an interesting character because what happens is Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac usually pick up. And now here's the thing. I'm also going to say I'm painting with a very, very broad stroke of the pen because I'm giving you kind of like the general information, what you need to know about these guys. Ginnie Mae is our government body on here, okay? And this guy really handles troubled loans, high-risk loans, okay? They're going to service and they're going to purchase on the secondary market. What do I mean they're going to do that? They're going to basically service that loan. So usually when you take out a loan to purchase a home, okay, and then you give the bank a mortgage, you'll probably get a letter within another month or so saying that it's going to be serviced by somebody else. It's probably going to be one of the companies right here, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, Ginnie Mae, things like that. So those are the people who are going to hold those. And they're the ones who are going to go through the foreclosure process, the deed in lieu process, okay? So Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac are very, very similar. Just Fannie Mae is the biggest, okay? So Fannie is bigger than Freddie, bigger Fannie than your Freddie. Ginnie is our government guy. Now, what we're going to talk about with the government one, they handle, again, they pick up the garbage. They pick up the stuff that no one wants, okay? They pick up high-risk loans, okay? So that's Ginnie. Last thing we kind of want to talk about is Regulation Z. Regulation Z is also known as the Truth in Lending Act, okay? It requires credit institutions on that primary market that's going to inform consumers about the cost of obtaining credit and the cost of obtaining a loan, okay? They need to make sure that they're going to be advertising the correct amounts. They're going to advertise all of the terms of the loan if they are advertising a loan or a program. This does not apply to business or commercial loans. That's another interesting thing. This really, Regulation Z, also known, Regulation Z, Truth in Lending, same thing, same animal, okay? Those are the same guys, so understand that. They also will abbreviate it TILA, okay, Truth in Lending Act. You will more than likely, if I had to put money on it, Regulation Z is what you're going to see it referred to as. Okay, what we miss. Okay, so Truth in Lending. Remember I told you you have to kind of disclose all the good stuff, everything that has to do with this. So you have to disclose the APR. You have to disclose things that might be misknown, that might be misunderstood, might not be clear. Anyone who extends more than the creditor, let's see, that's really weird. Ignore that. That's it. Again, I think that's just kind of stuff that you can kind of glaze over. There's a 3-day right of rescission as far as getting the loan, okay? But this doesn't apply to residential first mortgage loans. So this is the 3-day right of rescission is basically on second mortgages and HELOCs, things like that. Again, advertising, they're going to talk a lot about advertising in the book when you read over this. Advertising, they're going to talk about full disclosure of the loan terms, full disclosure of the program terms, things of that nature. Basically, if you had to say what is the most important thing to understand about Truth in Lending and Regulation Z, is the advertising requirements to disclose everything, okay? That is the biggest. That's probably what they're going to be asking you questions on. Penalties, I really wouldn't, again, be too concerned with that. But here's a couple of lists of them. And again, your book will go into more details in that. I don't want to really kind of bother you with that because, again, I do not feel that that's the most important stuff in this chapter. Kind of getting the gist of what I said before is really the meat and potatoes of this chapter. And that's about it. All right, that's chapter 15.